Nathan Abdenauer, and so the message being passed on down the line by Ontario. Captain Cindy Nellis saying, guys, we don't want to start losing players the rest of the week in this tournament. Double sin bins and things like that. Score 50-0. Tries, 3 of them from Cindy Nellis. Lauren Baldwin had the yellow card earlier. Brittany Douglas, the scrum half, with a try. Rebecca Gannon with a try. And Sydney Mann as well. And 3 conversions from Black. Atlantic with the chance now, throwing in some 15 meters from the line. Nice clean transfer in tough conditions. And that rolling maul is crabbing sideways. But Atlantic's got to get that ball out shortly or they could lose it. Now it's come out. It went back, or is advantage being played? No, advantage might be played for Ontario. No, that was Atlantic advantage. And now they're just a couple of meters out, 3 or 4 meters out from the line, stepping back inside. Stern stuff from the Ontario tacklers. Thank goodness we're under cover here at Twin Elm Rugby Park under the big awning. And it's not as comfortable for folks down on the sidelines, but all the fans have sort of tucked up underneath the roof and keeping their powder dry, as it were. One hop, no look pass. That goes to ground to the fullback, Sydney Mann. No, sorry, that's Ontario's fullback, Erin Beasley. She was the one that was tackled. Shirt tackle into touch. Tanisha Campbell. And now that could be it. Now it could be a second Sinman because Abdenauer just, there's not much more he can say. We've got an Ontario player on the ground, and I don't know if that's the captain. No, that's... Oh, it's an Atlantic player that's down, we're seeing. So now Abdenauer calling. And so 2 Ontario players in the bin. And so things piling up here for Ontario. They've got to watch what they're doing. As we see, just try and pick up the number for you who got the yellow card here. And she's going to go on the awning before we can see a number. But so 2 Ontario players in the bin, so 15 on 13. And surely Atlantic has got to take some advantage of this now for the next few minutes. That's McGrath, the big front row player from the Atlantic. She goes to ground. Tough conditions, but now another penalty. Unbelievably, could it be another Ontario player going? Could they be down to 12? He is delivering more cards than a Vegas dealer this afternoon, and that was so the card staying in the pocket for now. Only time I like to see Nathan with a card out is his credit card. He's buying, but. So you can see everyone bundled under that tent, trying to stay dry there on the sideline. So Atlantic has had all the possession here, but now Ontario stealing that at the back of the scrum. So Ontario, despite being down 2 players, maintaining possession, and I think they'll be happy to just kick it away now with a penalty against Atlantic. Quick tap ball and not even thinking about kicking from hand and buying some pressure relief down that wing. And then a huge tackle by the flanker from Atlantic, Tanisha Campbell. She does well to bring down wing Natasha Vrablik. Nice open field tackle into touch. So it will be Megan Kinsman throwing in for the Atlantic, wearing the number 2. And McGrath she manages to offload, and the rain picking up again, and hearing more thunder. So we may be getting into a situation where we have enough of this game played that they may knock it on the head, especially with the score at 50-2. But officials just trying to figure out what the next move is. Don't forget, we have another game here this afternoon. So the next kickoff, which is Dustin, is Quebec versus Prairies, is going to be delayed by some 15 minutes from the scheduled kickoff time of 4 o'clock. It'll be starting around 4:15 due to the delay here. 3:43 local, so we ate up a lot of time here. And boy, I think that's even being optimistic, because we still had a lot of game left here to play, so they may just get the 50 minutes in and then call it an afternoon. So Ontario, oh, and just a massive tackle from Atlantic tight head, the captain, Mary Giles. She didn't roll away in the tackle situation, lying around the ball. Quick tap ball from the Ontario front rower, Emily Barber. Our thanks again to Amanda for killing an afternoon here, helping us out. As we see a pair of Atlantic players coming out the field. 23 coming on, Abby Goodwin, and 17 coming on, Ellen Murphy. So it looks like a back row and a front row replacement. McGrath coming off from the front row. She's a great runner with the ball in hand. And now they're trying to put 2 more people in under the tent, and that's second row, number 4 for the Atlantic, Caitlin Blanchard off the field. Bit of a no-look pass now, and that's into touch. So Ontario will be getting their 1 player back in the next couple of minutes, but that'll only make it 15-14. Right now it's 15-13, and Atlantic cannot solve it. Now we've got 3 players coming on for Ontario, 18, 23, and 17. So Mackenzie Fain, Jordan Roundtree, and number 17 is Jillian Pegg. And we see 3 players coming off for Ontario. They're just heading right under cover, so we can't necessarily pick up who's coming off the pitch. Flanker Lauren Baldwin had the yellow card earlier. She's off the pitch. Game restarts over on the far sideline. Ball down the line. Ontario, playing with a lot of authority for a team that's 2 players short. Quick tap. Ball going down the line. That's the replacement for Atlantic, Jill Green. Another penalty, and now here we go again. And I mean, there's nothing more Abdenauer can do. The players just keep breaking the laws. And now another yellow card. So down to 12. So now it's Ontario that's hoping that this game will end early, because they're running out of folks here. Try and tell you who that is. They've all gone under the tent, so we're kind of struggling here to find out who's getting all these yellow cards. But so right now, if I'm just doing a quick head count, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How am I seeing 14 players in Ontario? So a couple of those yellow cards must have come back on. So now it's 15-14 from the looks of it. I'm just wondering, with all the changes, did someone come back on before they were ready? But early lift by Ontario, no problem there. Atlantic getting the ball but having to clean it up. And the intensity of the rain picking up here. So at 50-0 in the second half, and the rain pounding down, and I think officials will have to call this one short if they want to get it in at a 4:15 start. And that ball getting really slippery, and now another penalty. And I mean, the penalty count is just stacking up like firewood against the Ontario team. Oh, that's a great run by the Atlantic back rower, Campbell. But ball changes sides. At the breakdown again, Ontario just larcenous at the breakdown, but that's why they're in card trouble as well. And now look at how quickly the handle is lost on that ball. And so really best chance right now as we have the scrum half coming on for Ontario. She was sin bin, so they were down to 13 players still. Brittany Douglas coming back on. And I want to say there's still 2 other Ontario players off, and maybe did my counting wrong. I wasn't too good with my gazintas when I was younger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm seeing 14 people out on the pitch, so it was 13 people previously. So Atlantic with a real chance here with a player advantage. They have the Ontario defense drawn in that scrum. And I want to believe that they'll go right, even though that's the short side, really. Good push on now. But now they're in danger of losing possession there. And another penalty. And, boy, the argument could be made for a penalty try soon. That's Campbell. Will she score a second of this tournament? She stopped at the line. Going left, they have numbers out wide. One more set of hands ought to do it. And that is the inside center. Number 12, Adrienne McDonald, getting that goose egg off the board for her team. So 50-5 the score now after Tanisha Campbell touches down. Not Tanisha Campbell, I'm sorry, Adrienne McDonald. It started off with Campbell going into the line, and then clean hands down the line, and try scored left of the posts. So can the Atlantic add a couple more points here? Oh, and that's a tough kick on any day, but a wet day with a heavy ball, even worse.
Try by Atlantic, scored by number 12, Adrienne McDonald.
So 50-5 the score here now. So the word is that we'll be kicking off at 4:15, but I got to believe it'll be even later than that if we're going to try and play the full length of this game. Restart by Ontario, dropped by Green. So it's scrum time now for Ontario. You see the Ontario reserves trying to stay dry. 3 to an umbrella. And stolen against the head by the Atlantic. So some positive scrummaging there. So despite having possession, the Atlantic getting pushed back by the Pacific with Ontario every touch of the ball there. So we'll have a line out in front of our position here. So five Atlantic players coming. My goodness, and they are doing some wholesale changes there, more than I can track there for you. Chelsea McGuire, Megan McEachran coming on. I believe Holly Jones as well. And so just complete changing of the guard there for the Atlantic in the closing minutes of this game. Coming off, Megan Kinsman, the winger, Shelby Vining. The outside center, Isabel Dilger. So see what some fresh legs and dry hands can do in late stages of this game. Now rolling through there. Rucking well. That ball staying Atlantic side at midfield. Good service by Wells. Stepping back in there, the newcomer, 21, Megan McEachran. She's brought down hard. And a bit of a loose pass there. No one can find it. Now the fullback, Beasley, gets her hands on it. Ontario with the ball now. So possession really becoming troublesome for both sides. Understandably so with all the rain we've been getting. And some fierce running from Ontario. They want to make a point as they're still shorthanded. They want to score another shorthanded try and say, hey, I don't care about the penalties. We're still winning this game. Big break here now. Ontario recycling well. Bit of a pass behind the play there. Louise Chen managed to gather it in behind her. So it didn't go forward. And now that ball goes wayward. And we'll have a scrum for Atlantic. 5 meters in. Now we got a player with no number. So we'll leave it to her parents to determine who that is. That has got to be it for the replacements bench. Now Nathan Abdenauer looking to get, is this an Ontario replacement? It is a replacement, but I'm wondering if it's to replace the, no, not quite yet, I guess. To replace the player that was sent off with a yellow card. Now up the blind side and immediately pushed into touches. Green. Just wasn't enough room to operate effectively there. Jill Green liking their chances, but just too many people standing in the gap to allow that to happen. 3 changes, 22, 21, and 20, and 19. 4 changes for Ontario. So Mackenzie Higgs, Sarah Svoboda, number 21, and number 24, Sarah Guten coming on, and number 19, Aaron Vargas. So quite a few changes there. That includes fly half Stephanie Black coming off the field. And I think the captain, possibly Nellis, has come off. The outside center, Katie Svoboda. Second row, Morgan Linthwaite off the field. And the rain just keeps bucketing down here at Twin Elm Rugby Park in Ottawa. So Quebec and the Prairies up next If you're tuning in, this game is running late because of a weather delay here at Twin Elm, and there's going to be another Ontario try. Man, did you see a number there? No? Did you see a number? No? No. Okay. With the rain, etc., just a little too tough to see over in that corner. So the score pushes up to 55-5.
Nice song choice.
So I'm not the only one that had trouble seeing the score, unfortunately. Sorry about that, folks. Usually have radio relay to the sideline, but new kicker for Ontario. Well struck ball on a hard, wet day. Flags go up. 57-5. So, based on the schedule that they're trying to maintain, I feel like this game could be over in a couple of minutes. The Atlantic will restart this. So 9 tries on the afternoon for Ontario. Atlantic finally getting on the board. The try of their own from McDonald. Now another big run by Ontario. Straight up the tram line, but she drops the ball. Second row, Fidelio Umagan. And she was ready to go to the races, but she dropped the package. Jillian Pegg coming on for Ontario. So we're showing about a half hour gone in this second half now. And I'm not sure we're going to be playing the full 80 minutes. We'll find out shortly. We'll be taking a quick break to reset for archiving purposes and then resetting to the start of the next game. So don't worry, it's just the part of the technical side of doing live streaming that we need to stop the stream and then reset. Atlantic with another penalty going their way, and another drop ball goes in Ontario hands off of that run. And doing a good job, the Blues just throwing that ball around like it's a dry day in Phoenix here instead of a wet day in Ontario. Now going down that wing, and it's the inside center, number 12 for Ontario. Rebecca Gannon getting her second try of the day. So the Storm putting up some big numbers late. Nudging up to 62-5. You know you're going to see some lopsided games at times at these national championships. Hard for the Atlantic girls after a 41-22 loss yesterday. But in this wet weather, Ontario, and also being shorthanded for as many as 3 players at once, and 4 cards in total, they're putting on quite a clinical display here in wet weather. And that'll go left.
Ontario try by number 12, Rebecca Gannon.
So these teams will be happy to get into the changing rooms and get dry after a long, wet afternoon. Still some good tackles being put in by the Atlantic. They're not going to give any free passes to Ontario late in this game. They'll make them pay for every try they try and score. Now going right, and that's a loose pass. Ontario keeping possession. That goes into touch. Oh, we'll take the knock on first. Ontario making big strides on that far sideline. Getting it down that back line. And another monstrous tackle being made by the Atlantic if they turn that ball over. No, and it's a penalty. Lying around the ball. Oh, and I think they've knocked it on the quick tap. So maybe just a little frantic by Ontario as Fidelio Magan was hoping to make something happen, but instead she knocks it on, takes the chance away from her teammates. Fans doing a good job keeping dry under the overhang here at Twin Elm Rugby Park. That ball spinning left, but no receivers available. And now Ontario hacking through on that, causing trouble for the back line of the Atlantic, gathered in by Beasley of the Atlantic, but that ball is now in Ontario possession. Well, they add one more try here to call it a day. O'Magan, the second row. She's brought to ground. I feel like O'Magan might be being used in a center capacity, even though she's wearing number 4. Quick tap, and boy, the passing really becoming problematic here for Atlantic. And getting that out to Beasley. Now, there's a bit of a half break. That's a good job by the inside center, McDonald. Can she score her second of the game? Oh, and look at that counter-rucking by Ontario. The storm just pouring through, but the ball stays Atlantic side. And now, if you want to talk about jersey tackles, that looked like a bit of an effort there by Ontario. And another knock on. So original plan was for 4:15. I don't think we're going to be hitting 4:15 for that next game, folks. If you're programming at home, that's number 24 for Ontario coming on the field. Sarah Gooten, I said she was on earlier, but she is not. That's the hooker coming off, Misha Merrick for Ontario. Big run by Ontario. No one touching the Ontario ball carrier. Going to be down to the last vestiges of the second half. Umaga connecting well on that far sideline. That ball's come out. That's Atlantic ball now. Quick play as that ball hit the ground. And Ontario just showing great tackling technique late in this game. Look at that superior open field tackling going on out there. And now it's a penalty against Atlantic. Not releasing the ball. Tackle player not releasing the ball. And that ball has gone wayward. And that's just last 10 minutes. It's become disastrous. And I think they've seen enough. Nathan Abdenauer saying, thank you, ladies, for a great afternoon. But that will be it. 62-5 is your score.
Final score,
Ontario.
2 Ontario, 5 Atlantic.
So 62-5 at full time. So we won't linger and discuss the merits of this match. We're going to stop and reset, and we'll be back with live action. We may hit that 4:15 target yet. That's just 6 minutes away. So live stream to restart in just a couple of moments. You're watching NWL Rugby on the NWLRugby.com website. Doug Cross bringing you more action between Quebec and the Prairies coming up in a moment. Thanks for watching. Back in a bit.